around the image of the patron saint, La Virgen de la Caridad, while asking for freedom. The government is cracking down, arresting many and sending out the military to patrol the streets. Cuba's president blames the protest on U.S. intervention.
Y por eso también aquí estamos convocando
and urges pro-government revolutionaries to take to the streets and counter-protest. And so some tonight are telling us that's concerning. My sources in Cuba tell me they fear that this call to action by the president is simply pitting Cubans against Cubans, and there could be bloodshed, they say. For now, reporting live from the newsroom, Hatsabella, send it back to you.
And Hatzel, you mentioned bloodshed there. Have you had any reports from any of your sources that in fact is happening to a certain extent? Are we hearing those types of reports at this hour?
You're right. It's happening to a certain extent. And when I say that, just minor incidents with police, we have seen some video where we have seen some folks with bloody faces. And again, we also saw an Associated Press photographer who was injured, but we're told he's doing just fine, that they're checking to make sure everything's okay, but he's expected to be okay.
All right, Hatzel, thank you.
And our team coverage now turns from Havana to right here at home.
Local 10's Terrell Forney is live in Little Havana with the massive show of support that's still going strong hours later. Terrell.
And here we are just after 11 o'clock tonight, and take a look at just how many people are behind me. These folks have just as much momentum now as they did when they first arrived just after 3 o'clock this afternoon. One man actually came up to me a short time ago and tells me that he's been very moved by what he is seeing out of those images in Cuba. He really says that he's waited 62 years to see a day just like today. Their message is just as symbolic as it is meticulous.
The Cuban people have been demanding human rights for 62 years.
It's been a long time coming. We just want to be free, more food, more supply.
90 miles away from the communist island of Cuba, South Floridians gathered by the hundreds with Cuban flags and signs right outside of Versailles restaurant in Little Havana. And even as far south as Key West, where demonstrators used more horns and other noisemakers to draw attention to Cuba's humanitarian crisis, which has hit a boiling point for people living there and their loved ones who feel helpless here.
COVID's going bad. We don't have vaccines. We don't have enough supplies in the hospitals. People are dying. And right now, we just want to get back to our people, man, because we come from that struggle.
I want to see the president to see something and to do something for Cuba now. Because this is the moment. If not, they're going to kill the people in Cuba. And this is going to be for nothing.
So many people moved by the risky protests in Cuba showed up to line Southwest 8th Street for much of Sunday. So much so that police were forced to shut down the roadway for safety and to give demonstrators space.
the end of the Castro regime, the end of the communist regime in Cuba is not negotiable. Today is the day that Cubans want their freedom.
City of Miami Mayor Francis Suarez showed up to express his solidarity for the Cuban people, and County Mayor Daniela Levine Cava was moved enough to make an impromptu appearance.
I hope that all of this incredible support will help move the island to freedom. I hope that we're going to be able to bring democracy to Cuba with this effort.
This is a first step, and this is a first for many steps.
First of many steps, because change does not happen overnight, but people here are really optimistic that this really is the dawn of a new day for people who live in Cuba. The City of Miami Police Department, they have been out here in force, rerouting traffic around this area and keeping an eye on the crowd. In fact, as of right now, Southwest 32nd Avenue, between 32nd Avenue and 37th Avenues remains shut down here along Southwest 8th Street. So it's unclear how long the folks will be out here continuing their demonstrations, but we will certainly have another update for you on the Local 10 Morning News. For now, that's the latest live from Little Havana. I'm Terrell Forney, Local 10 News.
Thanks, Terrell. Brings to mind the night Fidel Castro died back in 2016. Similar response. Hashtag SOS Cuba. Now trending on Twitter tonight. What we're seeing from the people there on the island, evoking lots of responses from politicians right here in South Florida.
Calls for libertad in Old Havana heard and felt across Little Havana.
Today is the day and the eyes of the world are on Cuba.
That was Miami Mayor Francis Suarez during a special news conference earlier today, calling for a non-negotiable end to the regime.
Cubans are worthy and ready to rule themselves without tyranny. It can end today, and it must end today.
Governor Ron DeSantis tweeting, Florida supports the people of Cuba as they take to the streets. The Cuban